As I lay my head upon your breast, and I live my life at your behest, Lord, may I hear your beating heart. As you breathe your life into mine, fill me replete with your new wine, Lord, may I hear your beating heart. I've heard you ask, do you love me? Lord, you know I do. You surely know this heart of mine, Lord, I do love you.
Hi again,
Hello,
Gillian.
Bishop.
That's
We
good.
meet again.
Yeah. Now we've just come hot foot from the heat of the midday sun
Yes.
into the cool of the church, which is great. But we've come in convoy in cars,
We have.
and there was a time when I did a quick spin round the roundabout, and I expect Hannah wondered where we were going.
What
But-
direction we were taking.
That's right. But she was a great follower.
She did
followed
follow.
even though I went wrong.
Without instruction.
With no instruction, exactly. Now, I mean, really, you know, would you say you're a leader or a follower?
Well, at the moment I feel like I'm a leader, yes. I feel it's a natural thing for me to do is see what needs doing and take the initiative, I guess, and then people will follow me.
Okay. Yeah. Has that been so all your life?
No, very much I have changed. When I was younger, I was very much a follower, and I didn't think I was able to take any initiative. I wasn't encouraged. But as my faith's got stronger and I've been challenged, I've been able to meet the challenges and become a leader.
Take more leadership.
Take more
right?
leadership,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
I guess only through being challenged.
Yes. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
you know, metaphorically speaking, I hope, put yourself in a war zone. Would you be with the generals in the command post or in the bunker with the troops?
Oh, that's easy. I know I would be in the bunker.
You'd be in the bunker.
Yes, in
so
the thick of it,
leadership's
yeah.
got its limits.
Oh yes, that's right. I'm not one of the generals, not at all. I like to be in amongst the people, working with the people, but giving them some direction.
Okay. So you're talking middle management.
Yes, yes,
inclination.
yes. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But as warden, sometimes you have to be like a general. You take that lead.
Well, this is true, and yes, we are given that opportunity and need to make those hard decisions and ask people to follow us.
Yeah. Can you? I don't mean you need necessarily to describe it, but can you imagine an occasion when you were either in the bunker or the command post, but you've wished you were somewhere else, in the other place?
Yes, many a time. As a lot of people know, we've had a quite difficult history over the last few years, and it has been difficult to be the leader at times, and just to be able to encourage our people through the difficult time. And I guess that's a lot of what we've done as wardens, it just encourage our people to stay strong and focused in our faith, and that the Lord will bring us through.
Okay. So, I mean, it's really a question of where you would put yourself for what is needing to be done,
Yes.
rather than anything else.
That's right. Every situation changes, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Do you find it easy? You were talking about taking leadership. Do you find it easy to take sides?
Well, that always depends on the situation as well. I guess I'm quite strong-minded. A lot of people totally agree with that. So I know immediately which side I'm on. And then you have to spend time thinking about the other side, and I have changed sides. But generally, you get a gut feeling, and yes, that's where I belong, and I will stand firm. And if my conviction's strong, I will stay there.
Not without cost sometimes.
Very much, very costly, yes. But as a leader, you have to be able to take that. Yes.
And so, I often say, outside Pilate's house on the day of the crucifixion, there was one guy or woman who was the first to shout, "Crucify."
Yes.
And then the crowd followed.
Followed.
But sometimes we have to say, no, I'm not shouting that, even though that's what the crowd's saying.
That's right, and that's the strength of our faith, isn't it? Because we're very strong in our faith, and we know what's right and where we're going and at what cost things. So.
And I think part of the problem that we have is in the Christian West, or post-Christian West is what people might call it, is that Christians do find it hard not to go with the flow, but to stand up for the truth.
And it's quite challenging, isn't it? It's very easy just to stay amongst the crowd, and I think as Christians, in this day and age, we do stand back and become part of the crowd, and we need to make a concerted effort to stand out.
Thank you very much. That's great.
You're welcome.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you simply don't belong? The reasons for this are wide and varied, and they could be because you're totally out of your depth, or perhaps you've completely misunderstood the dress code, or worst of all, you are present because people have made assumptions that you are on their side, but actually you don't agree with them at all. Imagine what it would be like as a left-wing activist in a right-wing political rally. I shouldn't be here. I don't choose to be here. I don't want to be here. I have nothing in common with these people. Well, here's the woman in this week's passage. But before we go there, I think it's absolutely fascinating to note that the passage itself doesn't belong where it is either. It's in the wrong place. Most commentators agree that it isn't Johannine at all. It's not only in the wrong place in the flow of John's account, it doesn't belong in his gospel in any way. However, it has been incorporated by some early scribes or copyists into the text of John's gospel, and over history it's been placed in a number of different locations that don't concern us. It has also been placed in Luke's Gospel at the end of chapter 21. It is significant that some people consider the story, and it is clearly one that circulated very early in Christian history, so important that they put it into the Gospel as they copied it out. It clearly has a real purpose and is definitely the kind of message that the synoptic Jesus proclaims constantly, but it's in the wrong place. This story of this unfortunate woman caught in the very act, I thought it took two, but only she, as I say, is already in the wrong place. Not only she is in the wrong place, but the story itself is in the wrong place. But it is significant that some people considered the story, and it is one that circulated very early, they considered the story so important that they put it into the gospel when they were copying out John's gospel for reproduction. The woman, like the story, was in the wrong place in a number of ways. Her activity, which precedes our account, was in the wrong bed. And now she is feeling totally out of place with these people who surround her. She remains out of place, in the wrong location, until the final encounter in the last 2 verses. Now, brothers and sisters, where do you locate yourself in this story? Be honest with yourself. You don't have to share it with the others in the group, but be honest with yourself. Are you with the scribes and the Pharisees, or the crowd, or the woman, or Jesus? It is both humbling and challenging to consider where and concerning what I would be prepared to take a stand. The accusers are taking a stand, and so is Jesus. The woman, on the other hand, cannot make a stand, but rather is made to stand. Imagine, half clothed, distraught, embarrassed and afraid. Wrong dress code and wrong assembly. Not a good location. She has been caught in the very act. Have you ever considered how this has happened? Plotting, suspicion, watching, following, pursuing. And what of the reaction of those who caught her? Righteous indignation at the flagrant disregard of the law. But then, the law that they consider has been broken and is replaced by their own scheme. They are scheming, not about the breaking of the law, but about other matters. What takes place, what is put in place, is the need to set a trap for Jesus. And they're not interested in the fate of the woman or her injured husband, who interestingly never gets a mention. Their only interest is actually in finding fault with Jesus. They are now treating this woman purely as a chattel, something over which they have the power of disposal at their own whim. She is disposable, can be sacrificed for the greater good. So, where can I, or where do I take a stand? Where should I place myself? Where do I have the choice to put myself? And where am I placed by others? What needs we have to ask ourselves to be capitalized in our moral judgments? This woman is made to stand, larger than life and twice as ugly, in the midst of a baying crowd. Do my reactions and decisions change when I'm in a crowd? The major players are noisy and larger than life. The one who is to be accused makes himself small by crouching down and writing in the dust. He rises to ask one thing. Is this really about her? Don't use her for your own ends. According to the law, those who have witnessed the act need to throw the first stones. Only then, according to the law, can the crowd join in. Then Jesus, again making himself small, the accuser and the judge doesn't look them in the eye, but nonetheless, even those who could throw the stones walk away, leaving only two on the stage. St. Augustine, in his commentary on John's Gospel, describes the scene. He says, "Only two are left, misery and mercy. Where, in the light of this, do you stand? Where are you located?" In this passage, Jesus stands traditional values upside down. If adherence to such values means that a unique individual made in the image of God becomes a chattel, here she is made so in a debate over a point of the law. But make no mistake, the end is challenging. Jesus says, from this moment on, do not sin again. In this encounter with Jesus, the woman is given status. It is a life-giving encounter and a turning point, and she must not fall back into the way that leads to death, but rather locate herself on the path of life. We are approaching the time of the annual commemoration of the Lord's Passion. On Good Friday, some of you will be at the foot of Jesus' cross, alone, not in a crowd, only two, misery and mercy. Looking up at the cross, we have to decide. We can't remain neutral. If the reason I exist is to live with God forever, then ultimately I have to come to terms with the fact that this is only possible because of his love made plain in Jesus. I have to look at the crucified and say to myself that this is what I choose, that this is where I belong, that this is the way of eternal life. I cannot be in a debate over the law. I refuse to be used as a chattel. Rather, I have been granted status that is a share in the divine sonship. This is God's gift to me, the gift of life. I cannot simply admire Jesus from the sidelines. I have to follow in the way. That's where I have to locate myself, on the way. What one thing can you recapitalize to take further steps on that journey?